Let me at 'em!
Well, there it is. Hello, welcome to a map review for Fort HarrowGuarde by Pegabroster. The map is a 8-player map, so there's 4 versus 4, 2 for all, or 3 for all. It's built as a border defense between the realms of Lordaeron and Azeroth. Fort HarrowGuarde was abandoned soon after completion when the plague felled Lordaeron. Beware the bandits. That's just kind of by itself. Little full stop there, and then just beware of the bandits. So the size of this map is pretty large, but it's not too big. It's one of the largest 8-player maps you're typically going to come across, unless you come across something crazy. 148 times 148. So well, let's have a look, shall we? So we zoom out, get a greater scope of what's going on. My computer should just be able to handle this. Okay, so player 1, player 2, and then so on and so forth. So you can understand like the 2 players together versus these 2 versus these 2, or you can have a 4 versus 4 either way, and it works well for 4 versus 4 as well. Now the middle is only accessible by destroying these gates, and I have played this game, or rather this map, and you won't get to see any of it because it was horrendous, but basically these gates are a huge problem, and that's mostly I think because of the fission. You actually can't destroy them unless you're very lucky, or a specific hero or something that can see past the gates is able to get within their vision. Because if you walk over here with said unit and you go do, that footman is not going to attack this gate. It will not do it. I tried multiple times. It would not work. So to fix this, as flashy as that looks, we're going to have to raise up the ramp or whatever it is. So raise up the ground. So we're on the same level, and then build a ramp towards it. So there you go. So now players should be able to come up through this ramp up to the top bit and then see it, theoretically speaking, if all goes well. So that would be a simple fix for that, because essentially if you can't get through this barrier here, this gateway to the access the middle creep camps, you can only attack your opponents, and there's only so much to creep at the start, so let's cover that. Players spawn with plenty of wood nearby, so they're covered for that. They've got a nearby green camp, which looks relatively easy to do. It is easy to do. Level 1 charged item, that's perfectly fine. Level 1 power up item, that's fine. That's only level 5 creep camp, so that's pretty generous considering that. Then you've got this shop, the laboratory, in between the 2 players, and they'll probably team up to do this, or you could solo this with like militia or whatever if you wish, and you're going to get a level 2 power up item and a level 2 permanent item from a level 16 creep camp. So that's a little bit harsh actually. I would suggest like level 3 item, but none of these creeps are particularly high health. They're just a multitude of them, of low health creatures, so you can either have 2 lots of level 2 items drop, 1 level 2 charge, 1 level 2 permanent, that kind of thing. Might maybe make up for that if you're not going to have like a big Omen Magi or something that drops a good item. So otherwise build those up a little bit, but you're still getting access to the laboratory, so that's nice. Over here you got yourself a Mercenary Camp. Now this is also, by the looks of it, 14 levels in total, and we're going to drop a level 3 permanent item. That's potentially very good. So level 2 power up item, so that's fine. And this guy's a big guy, he can take a few hits, gives off a nice aura, got bash, 650 health, so pretty chunky. So that's pretty generous for that creep camp, but acceptable. So that's a creep camp you probably want to do first. Plus you get access to the mercenary camp, which are pretty good. You can get like the assassin. You might want to pick him up. He's very powerful, so pretty much pick him up, 250 gold. You won't really regret it unless someone can snipe him off really quickly. And then again, you just got like the small kobold camp. So these players, they look like they have natural expansions, but you'll be fooled because you actually have to get through the gate to get to this expansion and then somehow defend it. So if you do manage to get your expansion and build here, you could probably build some towers and have a fairly nice defense, but opponents could potentially siege it from underneath and attack ground with siege vehicles, so that could be quite cool. Then you've got this kind of road that essentially sort of like splits the players to some degree. You can't build on this tile, but you can build over here like a farm or something like that to scout for when your opponents are coming near your base. You've got taverns in a good position, each portion of the map, each quarter of the map, so players can pick up their heroes if need be. and then go harass is pretty close, and then go harass. But to be fair, with the players being quite close to one another, they can always defend versus this kind of harass, unless 4 players manage to get to the same side. But if this player wanted to get all the way to his ally up at the top here, he'd have to run all the way around here to do so. There's no shortcut through the middle, no extra pathways. It is very much outer border and inner border, and then inner border with even more gateways. But at least these ones you can destroy because you can actually get the ramp and see the fission. So let's have a look at the middle, shall we? So we've got our expansions, which are difficult to hold on to. So you're not really going to be expected to really get an expansion on this game, and if you do, then you probably won, because it's not easy to hold on to it, let alone get it in the first place, because these creeps are pretty powerful. A level 3 permanent item from the rock golem, that's pretty generous, but considering this creep camp is pretty nasty. Level 3 charged item, I'll probably swap over the items dropped, but to be fair, actually maybe not. Level 3 is permanently better. Rock golem is harder to kill, but this guy sits back and chills out with his teammates whilst the rock golem basically runs after you, so you could exploit killing him. You're going to have to go through 18 levels of creeps though, so I think that's pretty acceptable considering. You've got a few critters and they tend to be dogs. There's a lot of dags on this map, as you can see. Dags all over the place. No other critters, just dags. So we've got that expansions, they're all the same I believe. So moving on, we go over to the shop. So you got a laboratory, you got Mercenary Camp, you got a shop, so you got those things covered. And at the shop you have a level 22 in total. So a level 22 camp is going to give you a level 2 charged item and a level 5 permanent item from his 500 health. Wow, okay, so we know the exploit. Yeah, I think you might need to kill this guy here and put a knight in. That's what I think. But you've also got a knight in the middle, so you just need some sort of powerful creep. So what is this tile set? It's cityscape, isn't it? So what have we got? You need something slightly more powerful. How much health has a heretic got? The highest one. He's level 5 heretic, 600 health. Carrion swarm raised dead. Don't know if I'd give him. He's the kind of guy I would give a level 4 charged item to, not a level 6, level 5 permanent item. That's just too powerful. But it's not easy. You can't have the shop be too powerful either. I just basically don't think you can have a level 4 permanent item drop. I think you just have a level 4 permanent item. That's an easy way to do things, by the way. I quite like that, actually. So instead of using the custom item table, you've kind of just done it easier and gone straight to items dropped on death. Use item from table map. The table map is everything basically covered. So that's an easier way to do it in the long run when you're basically giving items to creeps, as opposed to sort of like every time you go to use custom, new set, or rather get rid of that one, new set, new item, and then click this, click that, click this, click that. It just saves you a few extra clicks, so that's actually pretty clever, to be honest, Pegger. I've not seen that before. And that covers all your bases. So I'd probably knock that down to a level 4 charged item, to be fair. And this guy would drop, say, level 2 permanent item. I think that's pretty fair. I can't really judge. I mean, it's good to obviously have creeps that drop some power. Let these guys drop the level 5. Okay, so yeah, level 4 charged item there. Over here is your marketplace, where you can obviously pick up these items or items of that type and get some really powerful items in the late game. Renegade Wizard with the level 2 charged item, which is terrible, and level 5 permanent item. Okay, so we got the Enforcer, we've got the Renegade Wizard here, so we're going to kill you, and we'll put down a Renegade Wizard 8. And he's going to drop the level 5 permanent item. That's a very powerful item, and he's not that difficult to kill, but 1200 health says he is, so yeah. If you're working as a team, you should be able to get through him. Level 5 permanent item, 1200 health to go through. I think that's pretty good. Yeah. Otherwise, you're looking at those ogres. So level 5 permanent items would typically drop from like the Ogre Warlord, which again has something like 1200 health around that mark. And then that's kind of your middle spot done. But as for the middle, you've got the Fountain of Health, which is pretty cool actually. And all players, judging on their angle and where they spawn from, will have to go up this awkward ramp ramp. It's not like a whole, like this whole path is you can walk up here. You've got to make a decision to go through this pathway that's not too narrow but gives just enough space for armies to sort of maneuver through somewhat. And they destroy the gate, which is probably going to have quite a lot of health to get through in the first place, and then over to the middle. And in the middle is a really difficult creep camp. It looks like 46 levels in total. Okay, that's pretty tricky. So the Granite Golem, he's got 1500 health, and he's going to drop Kill Maim, a very specific item. Okay, let's find out what Kill Maim is. Is there any way I can find out what Kill Maim is? Yes, there is. I've done this before. I need to get rid of my little hotkey add-on thing though. There we go. Here we go. Now I can use my F1s to F6s. Items. Kill Maim. Oh! Item damage bonus plus 20. So it does 20 plus. It's like having claws of attack plus 20 and lifesteal. That. Can you imagine that on a Blade Master? Not only are they getting plus 20 damage, but they're also getting lifesteal. So this is a Blade Master's dream, if not a Demon Hunter or a hero to that effect. That's an insane item, but it is 46 levels to get through. And to be fair, there's no way to really quickly kill this guy, and he's by a fountain of health. So you will need a huge army to bring him down, because the problem is if he was just by himself, that would probably be too big, that item. But because you've got all these other creeps surrounding him, it means that if you do try to focus fire him down just to get the arm, you're going to take so much damage and so many losses just because all these other units, like level 8 Renegade Wizards, will be tearing you to pieces. Level 8 artifact item. Level 7 artifact item. Jeez. So whoever gets in the middle is going to basically win the game. That's your only flaw with this, is it's fun to have all these super powerful things right in the middle, and I get it. But you are basically essentially giving one team a victory if they manage to creep this. It's not to say that they can't be contended with, so if players are keeping an eye on the middle, then they'll be able to go over there and gank other people that are trying to creep. But damn, that's game-winning items right there. It's going to be hard to lose at that point. So let's have a look, see what you get. Claws of attack plus 15, Cullen's Dagger of Escape, Aura of Frost, and the Ring of Protection plus 5 that everyone loves. And then level 8 artifact is really powerful. Crown of Kings, Mask of Death again, Blade Master, and Tome of Power. So yeah, might want to try to creep this middle spot. Not very easy to do though, but even then, mass air might be pretty good versus it. Only the Golem can't be really killed by heavy air, like Frostworms, Shims, that kind of thing. Hippo Riders might do okay here though, if they can focus fire enough and duck in and out, and they can fly over the edge. Warden could potentially come over, not even destroy the gate, blink in. If you get enough Hippo Riders. If someone fed you for that, or two people go both Hippo Riders and Warden, obviously they're risking it by being Night Elf in that situation, but there you go. And that is a quick look at this map. It looks very pretty, nice and green. Obviously you just need to fix those ramps, and hey presto, there you go. It's good to go pretty much. It might be missing just a couple of things, like here you could just make this a river. I know this is supposed to be a road that suggests that it goes off to other pathways, but it just kind of looks odd when it just goes black like that. I think people chuck sort of like rocks and extra doodads in just to sort of like almost give it this vibe that you can't go there. It's blocked off to some degree. I don't really know how you go about doing that though, other than just putting a river in. That's normally the easy way to go about it, is you just go boom, boom. Oh look, you can't go there because it's a river, and it just makes it look that doesn't look pretty, but you kind of get the idea. It's the lazy man's alternative. The hard working man's alternative is to put some sort of doodad or rock sort of like interface that sort of makes it look realistically like it's blocked off. But good luck doing that. That's your job, not mine. These trees over here are interesting. It's just a shame you can't get up here other than the Zeppelin, which is pretty risky. And the gateways do allow you access, but if you do get at the top, beware, because of bandits, but not just because of bandits, because of other players basically essentially dominating the top position. Like if you got expansion here, maybe built enough towers, that's not enough to guarantee this expansion either, but it does sort of like give you a safety point over here, but you could still get attacked from other angles. So playing this as a 4 versus 4 makes a lot of sense, because there's four other people to deal with, really, wherever you place. So the map has good potential. These are interesting doodads. They didn't play out very well, but that was mostly because they couldn't be targeted. If they can be targeted, which they will be if it's fixed, I think they're okay. So there you have it. That is Fort HarrowGuarde. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.